Hello, I'm Amina Ansari and you're watching SW News English. In this whole controversy of cash for query case against TMC MP Mahua Moitra and businessman Darshan Hiranandani, I came across an interview of Mr Hiranandani with Times Now. After watching the whole interview, I found Mr Hiranandani's answers to be a little confusing. Now, what I mean here is that Mr Hiranandani was not openly answering those questions on which he had talked about in his affidavit. And that's weird. I suggest you all to watch that interview, then you will understand the context of my points. Asked about anything, Mr Hiranandani would say that what actually occurred is in my affidavit. He was not ready to add anything new into his statement which he had made in his affidavit. Nowhere he talked negatively about Mahua Moitra, as Mahua Moitra had claimed that Mr Hiranandani's affidavit was drafted in PMO and he was forced to sign it. To this, Mr Hiranandani stated that the affidavit was signed by him voluntarily with no fear, no favour. Well, there were several questions asked to Mr Hiranandani in this interview and I found his answers to be indirectly not attacking Mahua Moitra. Let me share with you some of those questions and his answers. When he was asked why he shifted from his previous position of not being involved in this matter, to this he replied that it involved him personally, so was he incumbent upon him to bring the facts to the public. Well, I found his answer to be a little questionable as to why a business person who would first deny allegations publicly and then suddenly come with an affidavit a few days later accepting the allegations. But when asked questions related to it, he is not ready to add anything new into his claims. When Mr Hiranandani was asked if Mahua Moitra was working with Rahul Gandhi to target Adani, he simply said that all details are in affidavit. Now the question to think here is why is Mr Hiranandani not accepting directly claims he made in his affidavit? When Mr Hiranandani was asked about the monetary exchange in favour of questions, he again said that everything is in his affidavit. It was obviously a yes or no question. He could have just said answers easily, but he didn't utter any direct answer. When the interviewer asked him about the transfer of rupees 75 lakh in cash and rupees 2 crore through Hawala to Mahua Moitra, again he chose to stick to his affidavit. When asked about his silence on the monetary aspects of his affidavit, he directly said that he has provided all the details of whatever occurred in his involvement and he has nothing more to clarify. Now, as you all know that there were also allegations of Mahua Moitra taking expensive luxury items and gifts from Mr Hiranandani. On it, he again chose to stick to his affidavit instead of saying yes or no. When he was asked about using Mahua Moitra's parliamentary login ID as to how many times he has used it to post questions, he said that let the record come out as it can speak for itself. When Mr Hiranandani was questioned if Mahua Moitra's attack on the government were motivated and far from facts, he said that Mahua felt like it was her job as an opposition MP to attack the government. Question to think here is why he didn't put the blame on Mahua Moitra and answered in favour of her by saying that it was her job to ask questions. When he was asked if Mahua helped him with his business in opposition ruled states, he simply said that she spoke well of him to people. He didn't reveal anything about it. Mr Darshan Hiranandani claims to have made this affidavit voluntarily, which means by his own free will, which means nobody forced him. He wanted to say everything that he claimed in the affidavit correct, but in the interview he indirectly refused to answer a single question raised by the interviewer, which incidentally was based on his affidavit which he gave. Now, what exactly does it mean? Does it mean that Mr Hiranandani only writes without fear or favour but cannot talk about the same when questioned? That's all. Do share your views in the comment section. For more, subscribe to SW News English.